Well, good morning. It's 5:30 AM. Still dark outside, and we're just getting ready to leave Koufonisi, heading for Levithia. It's 50 miles, and we should be getting there around about 2 o'clock. We need to get there early because there's mooring buoys and there's only 13. And if we don't get onto there, we're going to have to carry on to Leros, which is 60 odd miles. You putting kettle on, sweetheart?
I am, yeah. Oh,
did you sleep alright?
You're filming me and I'm not. It's still the middle of the night. Yeah, I need more sleep actually. Yeah. Alright, once I've got a cup of tea.
So the sun's just starting to rise. Beautiful morning. Our friend over there in his boat, I can't see any life on it. We're supposed to be leaving in 20 minutes and he's got to take his dog ashore yet. I'm sure he'll be up. And just over there, the catamaran is sailing Ruby Rose, and I think they're going to the same place as us again. So we'll see them later. We've got to get there before them because they're a big cat. But they'll get there super fast, they do 12 knots. And this side it's still dark. Cup of tea.
Cup of tea. Makes you almost human again.
Well, it won't matter because I can't see you.
What is that?
You're just dark.
Oh, okay.
So we're off. Got about 8 hours of sailing. Wind's blowing about 23 knots, 24 knots. So we've got a reef in the main, reef in the jib, and we're doing about 6.1 knots. It's a bit lumpy out here. Wind at the moment's coming off us from about 60 degrees. It should be coming round about 110. So hopefully once we've cleared these islands, it should spin round a little bit. And hopefully these waves will start to come from behind us like they predicted. At the moment, they're coming from the same angle as the wind. And we've got about a metre and a half of waves. So predicted this for the next 4 hours, and then it eases off a little bit. So, see you in a bit. It's a bit rough. Forecasting 0.8 waves, and we've had over 2 metres. Wind at the minute is 25 knots. It's not very comfortable. A little bit. So from a forecasted 1 metre swell, we've had 3 metres. Got a bit leery at times. It's gone from 30 knots down to 0. We had to set the sails in, and now we've got 17, 18 knots coming from behind, and the waves are behind us as well, so we're more or less running downwind, which is a bit more comfortable. Got about 15 miles to do, and we get to the next island, and hopefully it's going to be very calm in there. Hopefully there's going to be some mooring buoys, because it's quite a deep water and you've got to use the mooring buoys. But they only have 13. Our mate's about a mile in front of us. We're doing around about 6.9, 7.3 knots at the moment. We have got the engine on a little bit, just to try and get it in a bit quicker. We've got a boat coming up behind us, who's obviously racing us to get in there. So we're 1.5 miles away from the anchorage, 2 miles, and the sea's calmed down quite a lot. And I've just checked the weather before we lose the internet, because there's no internet on this island. And the weather tomorrow at 6 AM is 30 knots. Big dark red all the way across between the 20 miles what we've got to do. So we've just made the decision that we're going to carry on now and sail for another 4 hours, another 20 miles. And do the leg what we're going to do tomorrow while the weather's calmed down a little bit. Because the last thing we want to do is go through what we've had this morning. That was horrendous. Quite cold now, even though it's probably 29, 30 degrees. It's damp on the boat, the floor's wet through. Life jackets are now off. We've had to get dressed. just arriving in Leros, Lackey Bay. It took us 10 hours to get here, which is not bad actually, because it should be about 12 hours for the journey we've done, but we've been doing some good speeds, up to 8.5 knots at times, averaging around about 6-ish, 6 and 7. So we're just going to get ready to drop in the anchor. We ended up having to get dressed because it was damp as anything on the boat when we were out there, and a bit cold, just in the shade all the time. So anyway, that's it. See you. Well, what a sail that was. The video doesn't actually show how bad the weather was, and when it got really bad, I got two hands on the wheel, I couldn't even get to the video camera to film it. But we were getting 3-metre waves, probably 2-second intervals, and they were quite steep waves, and then you were getting the odd rogue wave. And so it was probably one of the worst conditions of sailing we've been in the last 7 years. It all started just as we got out of a Morgos, and the boat tipped right over. We got water over the gunwhales up to the side windows, and all the cushions fell off. Not that we should have had cushions up there in them conditions anyway, but the cushions fell off. Stuff went flying downstairs. Jen let out a bit of a scream. Just one or two, and it just got worse, and for the next 3 to 4 hours until we got up to the south side of Levithia, the conditions were terrible. I wasn't frightened. Jen was. She was absolutely crapping herself. We were safe in the boat, but it was just so uncomfortable, it was ridiculous. Life jackets on, clipped in, and holding on for life. We got to Levithia and we was going to go in there, but like I said in the video, the weather forecast for the following day wasn't looking very good at all, so we decided to carry on. We got into the harbour, dropped anchor. Our friends arrived yesterday on the day when it was supposed to be even windier and rougher, and they had an absolutely fantastic sail. 0.8 metres waves, 30 knots, and they did it pretty quick. They were averaging like 8 knots, so you can't always rely on the weather. But anyway, lesson learned. We've been waiting for that weather window for a week. We decided to go for it on the calmest of the days, and it wasn't. So anyway, sorry we couldn't film the really rough part, but I thought I'd just put this on at the end just to let you know that it was rough, and it probably were the worst days sailing that we've had, for the majority of it anyway. Oh, and we did get to see some dolphins, so there's always a bonus. Not many. See ya.